Hello and welcome back to Rust Locker, and in this video I'm going to be finishing the gear shifter on the Civic, just getting rid of the sloppiness. So if you remember from the last video, which if you haven't seen, I'll put the link up here somewhere, but I'd replaced the polyurethane bushes on the stabiliser bar, but although that helped a hell of a lot, it didn't completely cure it, and I think I can get it a bit better by replacing, where is it? This gearbox, the selector, linkage, whatever you want to call that. So I need to get it off at this side, but I also need to undo it down there from the gear shifter. Okay, so I've pulled this boot back a bit here, and there's a clip, like a circlip thing. I've got to try and get that off. Okay, so I've tried hammering out this pin with a multitude of different tools, and I cannot get it to budge at all. Okay, slowly starting to make a little bit of progress, and the tool I found that actually fitted the best was this old broken snapped step bit thing. So this is a step drill bit, and quite a while ago I broke off the tip, so it's effectively useless anyway, but the step part fits just nicely inside that thing there. So no. Maybe the other way around. Yeah. Okay, so now that I've undone that the bitch pin, or whatever the hell it's called, this should slide off. Oh yeah, that was easy. Okay, so now that that's out, we can replace the seal and the bush here, and then we'll try and repair this linkage. And I have also got some official Honda OEM parts to replace the boot and things. So I've got the gear linkage boot replacement, one of them. I've got the oil seal to stop that little oil leak at the back of it, and I've got a new pin to connect the linkage with. So at least I can fit these parts as well. Right, so back under the car. Let's get some light on the situation. So we've got a new boot for here, new seal, and a new pin. Now I can tell that the seal is actually coming out, so maybe I didn't need a new seal, maybe I just needed that one hammering back in, but I've got a new one anyway, so I'm going to replace it. So first thing is to get this boot off, which is quite easy, just that's that, and then that's the seal in there. Try and pull that out with some pliers, I reckon. Okay, it's coming. Ah, there we go. Ah, dripping. Shit. Didn't think that through. Okay, so I managed to get this in as far as I could. I didn't actually have a socket that would go over this pin here, so I couldn't actually use a socket to hammer this down. I haven't got the right one. So what I did was I used the old bushing, not the leaf, just the old bushing like that, and I put that over, and then I started hammering on that, and I got it in a certain way, and then I would just finished it off by giving it a little tap around here, but it's starting to damage the outside of it now. I think that's in as far as it's going to go. I don't know if that's in enough. I can't get it in any further, so it's going to have to do. Okay, and they've got the new boot. Stick that over. Now we can replace the gear linkage back on. Okay, so I've given this a clean up, got some of the old oil and grease off of it, and it looks to me like this section here is actually still very tight. Can't really move that at all. It's just this section, the actual linkage bushes, which so that's what's what are you doing? Bad. Leave that. So as you can see, this is actually like riveted on, so I'm going to have to sand off that rivet to get this undone and then replace it with a bolt. Okay, so I'm down in the shed now. Before I take this apart though, I'm going to make some markings to make sure I remember which way round it goes, just in case it's slightly different. I think it's a different length on one end. I can feel here the burrs that I made whilst hammering the pin out, so I know that this is facing down anyway. So if I make a mark on here and here, I'll know that's just the way it goes, and should be alright from there. So I'll do that first, and then I'm going to try and sand away this rivet. So I've made a tiny little score mark on the top there, so I know that if the scores on here that I made are facing in the same direction as this is, then that should be the same way round. Now let's try and take off this rivet. Okay, so the pin's managed to push the pin through now that the head of it is off. Okay, so this is the thing we're going to have to try and repair. Right, so I've been sitting at the table here trying to fix this bushing. I've achieved it now. I did watch a YouTube video where a guy used fuel hose to replace the bushing in here. So off of eBay I bought myself a little selection of all different types and sizes of fuel hose, and absolutely none of them worked. Some of them kind of would work, but not in other ways. Anyway, so what I did was I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll just try to bolt it together, re-grease all the existing plastic bushings inside here, and just tighten it down, and I think I have actually achieved something good here. So haven't even properly tightened it up. I could probably go a little bit more, but we've got free movement where it's supposed to be, and I can't even hold it tight enough to wiggle it. So yeah, I think this is going to be good. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo this bolt again, and I'm going to use some really strong Loctite on this bolt just to make sure it's not going to come undone. Hopefully that will do it. Okay, so now I've got to put the pin in there, but before I do that I'm going to reattach it up that end with that bolt just to keep it like sturdy while I hammer in that pin. Okay, so I've got it bolted in up the top there, that's all done. So now all that's left to do is to hammer in this pin, and then hopefully we're getting somewhere. Okay, so finally got the pin in. I'll just pull the boot over this in a sec when I've got two hands, and then that's done. Now, what have we got play wise? That's a hell of a lot better, but there is still a little bit. But to be honest, I don't think, unless I can find a full bush kit for this or get OEM stuff or a whole new gear linkage thing, I don't know, but this is as good as it's going to get, I think. Okay, I think I see why there's a little bit of a gap here where the seal goes in. That gap there is for the boot to hook over onto. So yeah, obviously it doesn't have to go all the way in to be flush, because it needs that little lip for the boot to like hang on to. So yeah, I'm going to pop that on and pop it on this side, and then it should be done. Okay, so that's that sorted. Okay, let's check it out from this side. Fingers crossed. Neutral, into first. Oh yeah, that's as tight as I think I'm going to get it, and that's as good as most new gear sticks. Okay, so now I've got to try and get this interior back together and deal with these screws down here that are all knackered and that. So next thing is probably to deal with those, get those out so that I can tap the holes and put new screws in. So I was just tidying away my tools and realised I forgot to put this clip back on over the pin, so back under the car to do that. Right, so I've got some nice bolt threads tapped into there, and a bolt fits in there. So now I'm just going to put the centre console back, put everything back how it was before, that I can remember. Oh, I'm not sure whether this is the only boot that is supposed to be on this gear stick. I've seen online there's a what Honda call a dust seal A. And obviously I don't have that, and I'm not sure if I need it or not, to be honest. So I mean, that kind of goes over there, and these there's a groove inside here which I think lips over that, and I think that is it. That's the only boot. I'm not sure, but it does leave this grease part here open to getting dust in it, so maybe I do need dust seal A. But basically it's another 20 quid for another thing, and another few days of waiting for it to get here, so I'm just going to put back what I've got for now. Okay, so I've got some bolts with a couple of washers. That one's nice and tight. I've just got to finish putting this one in. But then I thought what I'll probably do is leave the rest of this dashboard in pieces, because the bulb on the clock has actually gone. So I wanted to replace that, but it's a weird bulb behind there, so I need to order that as well. So I'm just going to leave this, not going to bother putting that back together for now. Gear stick is a million times better. Doesn't wobble about at all with the engine just running. When you put it into gear, it feels nice and tight and solid. You know exactly where the gears are. There isn't a sort of a wobbly, loose circle. There's still a bit more play than a normal, like a new gearbox, but you do actually have to move it rather than just waggling on its own. So anyway, I think I'm going to call the video done here. Thank you very much for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you on the next one.